Hello, everyone, and welcome to I'm Not Okay with Day. I am your host, Day. I know, y'all. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks. I did miss last week for the new episodes to drop. And honestly, y'all, I'm going to be real. I have not wanted to record the podcast. We're going to dive right into more into that, but it has been it's been up and down. I'm not feeling terrible, but I've definitely been struggling sometimes. And so it's just been a lot happening. I've been very, very busy at work. I've been feeling honestly just no energy. And so we'll talk more about all of those things. But yeah, that's why I've been away, but I'm back today. And I guess I'm just gonna give a little update and just kind of talk about what I've been dealing with, what I've been thinking about. And yeah. So we are going to do our some type of way first, and then we'll talk about all the things. So this is my birthday month. We are still in the month of March. It's still my birthday month, and it's been a really great month. It really, really has, in the sense that I've spent a lot of time with people that I love. My best friend surprised me a few weeks ago, and that was so great. And so it's just been a month where I've been enjoying the people that I love in my life, which I think kind of plays a role in how I've been feeling lately. But it's been great. I've been feeling the love, and so that has me feeling some type of way. Of course, when it's your birthday, you feel the love from everybody, and sometimes I think before those days, you forget how much love you actually have, and so just being able to get that reminder, having my best friend come and visit me, it was such a great weekend. Like we literally didn't even do anything. We stayed in the apartment the whole weekend. But it was just so nice to just hang. So that had me feeling happy and just filled. Um, so yeah, which kind of brings me into what's been going on. So let me tell you guys, I've been up and down. A few things. One, I've been dealing with some things that frankly, I don't know if I'm going to talk about it ever publicly on the podcast. Um, but that's one thing I've been working on a lot more recently in therapy, having more conversations with my friends about. And so ideally, I would be able to use the podcast as a platform to speak on how I'm doing because that's the whole point of this thing. The whole point is for me to kind of take you along with the journey and just be open about what's going on and talk freely about things that we don't typically talk about. But this particular thing that I'm dealing with is something I feel like I need more time to heal from. And so I'm not in a place of readiness to speak on it. And again, I don't know if that'll ever be a thing, but right now, my mind has been consumed with that stuff, and so it's been really challenging to record the podcast because I'm like, "What am I gonna talk about?" The thing that I feel like talking about, I don't really wanna talk about. So I that's been one of the things that's been I feel a little bit like I'm at a standstill. Not even a standstill, but this is where kind of figuring out the boundary for myself is going to be regarding things that I'm going through has happened. And so I'm still trying to figure out that boundary, but that's been one of the reasons why. Another thing has been I've talked about this before, but y'all having a full time job and doing this, having a full time job and doing anything on the side is very difficult. I mean, when I come home, sometimes I come home late. I'm exhausted mentally, physically. And so having the strength to set up, record an episode. It's just sometimes literally it feels like too much strength that I don't have. And so that's one of the reasons why I haven't been recording because I literally felt like I had no energy. And I really want to be able to be authentic with myself and you. And so sometimes I push myself to record even when I didn't feel like it. But sometimes I don't because I literally just don't have the energy. I think that I think I can confidently say this. I think I've had some episodes of depressive episodes recently. It's been up and down, but like when it's down, your girl's down. Like your girl don't want to do anything. Just basic tasks are hard. And I think I've had the good times of being around people. So that's been good, but it kind of hits a little harder when the people are gone, you know, which is really the thing I wanted to talk about today. And that is loneliness. I know, y'all, loneliness. Here's the thing that has bec ugh, how do I say this? So, I have moved around so much in my life. I've talked about it in previous episodes, but I moved around, from literal country to country, born in Jamaica, moved to Canada, then to America, and within America, I've moved to a bunch of different states. In my adult life, I, um there was one move in my adult life that was for me, and then all the other moves was for my ex based on his job. And so because of that, and I mean, this is something I knew ahead of time, right? So I've always known I was going to marry this person and this person was going to have to move around, right? So this was not a surprise for me. But and I thought with my experience of being someone who is constantly moving around or had moved around so much in my earlier life span that I was going to be okay with it. I realized, especially with the last move that I did with my ex, I hated moving. I did not want to keep doing it. I did not want to keep doing it because it's the thing of starting over. First of all, moving in general is just the worst. If you're someone who's moved a lot, or even if you just moved one time, you understand what I mean. Packing up your whole entire life in boxes, going through all the things, physically moving all of your stuff somewhere else, unpacking. Like it's just a task. It's exhausting. No one wants to do it. So that just in and of itself is hard. And then moving to a new city, a new place where you don't know anybody and you have to start over is also really, really hard. And I think there's a romanticizing of moving where it can be like, oh, you can start over, you can start fresh, you can da da da, whatever. But the reality is, especially as an adult, is that when you move as an adult and you're starting over, it's just so hard to make friends. We're going to come back to that. It's hard to adjust. And I find that harder and harder the older I'm getting. I mean, at this point in time, like I don't know what God's plan is for my life, so I don't know how long I'll be where I'm at. I don't know what's going to happen. So there's no like direct plans for anything at this moment. We're just kind of vibing here until God says otherwise, essentially. But being here in this new place, it's been tough. So the thing too that I was saying earlier about moving with my ex is that at the very least, I was moving around with a partner. So, there's always that like, okay, well, we're all in a new city, we're in a new place. We do have to adjust, but I'm not by myself. Like, I'm with another person. So cool. Right. And I mean, even that is still hard because I felt like for me, I had to do a lot of adjusting for this person. And even though, as I said, it was something that I agreed to do, that didn't mean that it wasn't difficult. And so, he knew certain people that were in the area. I didn't. And so I just felt like I always had to adjust myself for this person, which can easily cause resentment. I don't know that I can say that it did necessarily, but that is hard. But then when you move by yourself, there is another level to that. There is a level of everything falls on you. And not only does everything fall on you, but I don't know. I feel like I think maybe it's a responsibility thing, or maybe it's like an accountability thing in that if I have friends or if I don't have friends, like that's fully on me. Whereas I can kind of get away with my husband being my friend and like that's it. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's different. It's really, really different. And I think, especially too, when I moved in with my parents after the divorce, I mean, that was a transition in and of itself, but I was not by myself. I wasn't alone. I had these people to come home to and like an actual support system physically close to me. So it was good. Like it was easy, not easy, but it was easier like with that transition. But since moving here away from my family on my own, not having a physical support system like in the city that I'm in, y'all, it's been hard. It's been hard. Making friends as an adult, coming back to that, as I was saying, that is so hard. Like, no one talks about this. You know what no one talks about? The fact that you go to college and then you make lifelong friends there because, frankly, all of my closest friends, save for two people, I met in college. And the thing about it is, like, in college, everybody's in that same place. We're all in the same state together. But then we graduate and we all go our separate ways. And then you realize, oh, all of my closest friends are actually really far away, which is what has happened to me. And literally, every single one of my closest friends lives either in a different state or a different country entirely. Okay. And so, I've made friends in the different places that I've gone to over the years. I have. But I feel like as I've gotten older, it's just something that's harder to do. And so, like, coming here, literally the only friends that I have are my coworkers. There's one friend that I have that I knew from college that is also in the same city. Um, But then it's just so hard even to, like, get together and do things just because adulting schedule. But, like, that's it, right? Like, I don't have a lot of options. I don't wanna say any because I don't wanna invalidate the friends that I do have and the people I do have here, but it's really not the same. It's not the same to have, like, your closest people around, and I feel like okay, that was Alexa being so rude. Oh my goodness. Notification from Alexa. Thank you, girl. Anyway, I feel like, um, especially as I've gotten older and especially in this recent month, that's what I was saying. In this month of being my birthday and like my, the first week, it was me and my family. We went away to celebrate my birthday. And then my best friend came and visited me. And then my mom came and visited me. And so then, like, having those experiences and then going back to just the regular life of work and then being by myself, it is hard. Like, I just realized, oh man, like I actually need people close to me in distance. Which that sounds funny because I've moved around so much in my life, I was very, very used to having my friends far away. And I almost like convinced myself that I was good because even though my friends are far away, I still maintain contact with them. And I guess I just convinced myself that I was good. And maybe part of me was okay with it. But this is my norm. And this has been my norm for years of having my closest people far. Like, this is not new. So I think it's one of those things where you're used to it, so you just like it is okay because 'cause you're just used to it. You convince yourself that you're fine, except you're not. You're not, and so I think that's what it is for me. Like, think especially as I've gotten older, in this time of depressive episodes and just being overall more connected to my emotions, struggling and being more open with that struggle and receiving help, asking for help, it's harder to really do when I'm just so far from the people closest in my life. And when I say I'm lonely, y'all, I'm not even talking about like a romantic loneliness. I'm really not even talking about that because, as I said in one of the episodes before, I don't want a relationship. I don't feel like I need a relationship right now either. I'm definitely not ready for one. And so, like, I'm not even fully lonely for a partner, but I am feeling lonely for a community and just a support system that is close in distance. And so that's been hard, y'all, because yeah, there have been times when I just feel like being myself and I should being by myself and I shouldn't be. But who am I going to hang out with? And there are just times when I want to go and do fun things, but I don't have anyone to do them with. And so it's really, really difficult to just be on my own, literally on my own. And so I don't know. I guess I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I realized too, being very close to my family and distance is important. And maybe that's the thing that happens too as you get older. You just want to be closer to your family. Also, I'm an only child. So, there's that. But no one talks about this because I know I can't be the only person that's far away from like family and friends. And then you literally have to think about kind of like starting from scratch and finding your chosen family. Like, that is hard. And the reality for me is, again, I don't have the energy and the strength. I feel like I've become a lot more introverted too as I've gotten older. And it takes a lot of effort and work. You got to be like meeting people. And then where do you meet people? In COVID. Although these days everywhere is opening up a lot more, but I personally feel still uncomfortable kind of like going places, especially with lots of people. So it's like, how do you even make friends as an adult? Like, how do we do this? How do you meet people? Where do you meet people? Like, the meme that is like me being lonely and crying about being by myself, but then staying in my house all the time, like, literally, this is me. And it's like, no one's gonna just pop up at your house out of nowhere, and if they do, that's creepy and, concerning. But, like, that's it, like, what do we do? How do we make friends? How do you meet people and create for yourself a community, especially in a time when people are not necessarily wanting to be out there because we don't know what all is happening regarding this pandemic, you know? So that's been kind of where I'm at, y'all. And I feel like I'm still trying to just figure out what I want to do about that because I do realize that I definitely need to up my coping skills in that. Right now, y'all, my skills include watching TV. And that's it. And talking to my friend. Like let me say this. I do talk to my best friends via the internet and just like, FaceTime and things like that. So I definitely do still feel connected to the people that I have in my life. It's not the same not having them in physical distance, but I do that. So like that definitely is a part of my coping. But in terms of even just doing activities here or hobby, like I have no hobby. The other day I was at work and talking to one of my clients, and my client was like, "What do you do for fun?" And I was just out here like, "That's a good question. I have no idea." So I don't know. I guess I need to like figure out how to incorporate more coping skills. I mean, I think about what I would tell a client or someone if they were saying what I'm saying, which is, what do you like to do? Go ahead and do those things. And maybe you might meet people when you're doing the things that you enjoy, which, like, yes, I think my issue is when I'm gonna do this. Cause I be coming home late from work. Where's the energy? But you know what? This is excuses. That's what this is. These are excuses that I need to not continually make for myself. And I think that's just probably the answer. Gotta just be intentional about what you want. And I hate it. Let me tell y'all that I hate having to be intentional about things. And you just don't realize how easy you have it when you're a kid. You just don't. Like when you're a child, you don't question how, you don't question, like, the kid making friends at school, like, the accessibility of the people, they're just there, like, you just don't think about these things, and then it comes a time when you literally have to be intentional about going and putting yourself out there, and it's like, that's another thing. Do you wanna put yourself out there? Do I wanna put myself out there even just, like, to make friends? It just doesn't sound appealing. Oh my goodness, it's not appealing, but I know, y'all. If I want to change this, can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. You got to do something. I know, but this is where I am, y'all. So, just letting you know, if you are a lonely adult like I am, I feel you. We're in it. We're in it together. Let us try to be intentional with each other. I think this podcast, again, is my way of maintaining or holding myself accountable. And so I'm going to do something about it. I am. What exactly? I'm going to do something, though. I promise. This is what I'm telling myself. So, yeah, guys, that's where I've been. I'm going to say that I will be taking a break because I have been working to gain my hours for my LCSW, which is my other license. I'm working on getting my license as a clinical social worker. And so I know last year I was doing that too. And praise everything worked out. And so I'm in that same process, but for the next phase. And so I need to study, y'all. And that's another thing. I haven't even had time or energy to study. So I need to really hit the books, get serious because I'm very close to finishing my hours and I really want to be able to sit for the test immediately. I don't want to have to wait any longer. That's another thing that moving has done, y'all. I've been moving around so much that I haven't even like I could have been had this license, but it's just taken so long because every time I move, every state is different. I gotta do different requirements. It's just been a whole thing. But we're not gonna complain. We are close to our goal now. And so I need to study for that. So I will be taking a break. Um, and the hope is that when I come back, I will have great news. I mean, honestly, I might come back before I take the test. Who knows? But I need to prioritize studying at this point, and so that's what I'll be doing. So Last thing, y'all, what God has taught me, I will say that I do feel closer to God, especially in recent times. And I want to, and have been, I think, prioritizing my relationship with God. And I think that's definitely been one of the things that has just kept me going, honestly. And so, one thing I think I'm learning is that sometimes you have to go through the same test multiple times. Sometimes, I mean, I've just noticed this in my life. I be going through the same exact issue and it comes up every time. And it's like you would think I would learn my lesson and get it, but y'all, sometimes I really don't be getting it. And I think that's the point. I think that God allows us to go through different types of tests and struggles because we ain't learned yet. We haven't learned. And so that's been happening to me a lot recently. And I've just been like, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing. I'm going to take it in here. Let me learn from this. Let me do better. And I do think it's working. I think it's working slowly, but it's also a reminder that if you're going through a test multiple times, that just means you got to brush up and it's okay. And it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It just means there's something in there that you still got to learn. And so that's what I'm trying to internalize for myself. I'm really grateful for the people in my life that have been able to hold me accountable when I've been going through the same thing over and over. And to encourage me to keep on going. And so that's what God has taught me. I hope that's encouraging for you. And y'all, until next time, whenever that time will be, okay? Until then, bye.